You're here because you want to get a solid handle on the battery energy storage systems market, BBSs. You want the important stuff, the key players, what really matters, without wading through endless jargon. So that's exactly what this deep dive aims to deliver.
Exactly. We've got a pretty fresh report here from Cognitive Market Research. It came out in December 2024, got an update just this January, and it really focuses on the top manufacturing companies in this space. Our mission, if you will, is to pull out the essentials, identify who's leading the charge, and give you a clearer picture of where this, well, very fast-moving industry is going.
And fast moving is, yeah, putting it mildly. I mean, think about this. 2024, the market was valued at $8.14 billion. But the projections, they show it rocketing to $56.86 billion by 2032. That's a CAGR, compound annual growth rate of 27.58%.
Wow, 27.50%. That's huge.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that kind of growth tells you just how crucial BESS is becoming. It's not just about the batteries, right? It's about the whole energy system shifting.
Absolutely. And, for listeners to really grasp the significance, it helps to think about why this explosion is happening. Battery energy storage is basically becoming the linchpin for getting renewables, like solar and wind, onto the grid smoothly. They provide that needed stability. Store the power when it's sunny or windy, use it later. Plus, they help with things like peak shaving, easing grid stress during high demand, and, of course, backup power. So, yeah, it's not some tiny niche thing anymore.
Okay, so massive growth, vital role, makes sense. But how do we actually figure out who's who in this pretty complex market? What did the report use to sort of rank these companies? What makes a leader?
Good question. The report lays out several key criteria, which are actually really useful. First off, revenue and market share. Pretty standard, but important. Tells you who the big fish are right now. And give the sense of their financial stability. High revenue usually means customers trust them, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. If people keep buying, they must be doing something right. What else?
Then there's the product portfolio, basically, what they actually offer, the range and the quality. Are they just doing lithium-ion, which is, dominant? Or do they also have things like flow batteries, maybe hybrid systems? And the details matter. Energy density,
Hmm.
how much punch in how much space cycle life, efficiency, how well they play with renewables.
Right. So it's not just having a battery, it's having the right battery for the job and making sure it, well, lasts and performs.
Exactly, which leads straight into technological innovation. The company's pushing the envelope, developing batteries that perform better, last longer, and are, more sustainable. Those are the ones likely to stay ahead.
Innovation's always key, especially when tech moves this fast. What about, like, where they operate? Does global reach matter?
Oh, definitely. A strong global presence, good distribution, partnerships in those key growth areas. Think Asia Pacific, North America, that's a big indicator. You need to be where the action is, basically.
And I guess they need to be looking forward too. What about R&D, research and development?
Fundamental. The report flags R&D investment as critical, shows commitment. Are they working on AI for energy management, faster charging? Spending big on R&D often signals future breakthroughs, something you'd want to know if you're investing or relying on the tech.
Okay. And last thing, collaboration. Seems like you wouldn't go it alone here.
Yeah, strategic alliances are vital. Partnering up with energy companies, grid operators, renewable developers, it expands reach, helps create tailored solutions, tackling specific grid problems or integrating a big solar farm.
All right, so we've got a good framework: revenue, portfolio, innovation, reach, R&D, partnerships. Based on all that, the report names the top 5 manufacturers right now. Who are they?
Okay, the report identifies these 5 as the current leaders: LG Energy Solution, Samsung SDI, ABB, Siemens Energy, and General Electric, or GE.
Got it. Let's dig into those, starting with LG Energy Solution, South Korean company, right? What's their story?
Yep, based in Seoul. LG Energy Solution is a major player. Their main game is advanced lithium-ion tech. They target everything from grid-scale renewables integration and stability, right down to commercial buildings and even residential storage.
And what's their big strength? What makes them stand out?
The report really highlights their high-capacity long-line battery systems. They're engineered for, top efficiency and reliability.
Yeah.
That's super important for these long-term storage applications we need more of.
Sounds like they're pretty global, too.
Oh, yeah. They operate in over 30 countries, work with major renewable developers, utilities. Their numbers show it. 2023 total sales were $26.01 billion. And get this, $5.7 billion of that was just from BES. That tells you how central storage is to them.
Wow, $5.7 billion just from BSS. That's significant. Any specific products or innovations we should know about?
Yeah, they mentioned the UL-certified RESU series. That UL mark is a big deal for safety, especially for home use, gives you confidence. And they're not standing still. They're working on solid-state battery prototypes, so focusing on today and tomorrow's tech, plus a big emphasis on safety and sustainability overall.
Okay, makes sense. Let's look at the other South Korean giant, Samsung SDI. How do they compare?
Samsung SDI, also based near Seoul, in Yongin, another absolute powerhouse. They're also deep into advanced lithium-ion, but like LDG, they're pushing hard on solid-state batteries too. You see their stuff in utility-scale projects, EV charging infrastructure, industrial systems. Pretty broad.
And their edge. What's their key strength, according to the report?
High energy density batteries. That means great performance, good safety record, really valuable where space is tight or you need a lot of power fast. Something to consider as energy demands get, well, trickier.
And globally, financials.
They're in over 20 countries, partner with leading renewable providers, utilities, similar kind of global network. 2023 total sales were reported at $17.5 billion, so still very significant scale.
Any standout innovations from Samsung SDI?
Yep, their ESSQ platform is mentioned. That's for big utility scale projects. Modular, scalable. Also, and this is important, their work on cobalt-free batteries. Reducing cobalt is a big environmental win, so that's a definite plus if they can maintain performance.
Interesting. Okay, let's hop over to Europe. ABB, based in Switzerland. What's their angle?
ABB comes at it a bit differently. More of an integrated solutions approach. Grid stabilization, supporting renewables, industrial power management. Their strength is really in modular and scalable systems, think building blocks you can add to.
Any specific examples, like product names?
Yeah, the report calls out their ABB Power Store and eMesh solutions. They're designed for efficient energy use, grid reliability, flexible stuff for different project sizes.
And their global presence must be pretty wide.
Huge. Over 100 countries, they work with utilities, developers, industrial clients. Very broad customer base. 2023 sales reflect that. $32.23 billion total, with $3.9 billion from BESS. Still a significant chunk.
What about innovation from ABB? What are they working on?
They're big on AI-driven energy management, using artificial intelligence to optimize how the batteries work, make them last longer, and also developing hybrid solutions, combining storage with different energy sources for better efficiency and resilience.
Okay, next, Siemens Energy out of Germany. How do they fit in?
Siemens Energy, well, they're a massive name in energy tech overall. For Big BE, they offer comprehensive solutions. Platforms like C-Storage and Blue Vault are aimed at utility scale, integrating renewables, and also microgrids, those smaller independent power systems.
And their core strength in BES.
It seems to be a strong focus on efficiency and sustainability. They use advanced energy management systems to really squeeze the most performance out while trying to keep costs and environmental impact down.
Where do they operate mostly? Who do they work with?
They're in over 90 countries. They work closely with renewable developers, utilities, industrial partners, tailoring solutions. And interestingly, they're also looking into hydrogen-based energy storage. That's a really promising area for longer duration storage down the line.
Right, hydrogen is definitely getting a lot of buzz. Okay, finally, the U.S. player in the top 5, General Electric. GE. What's their focus?
GE provides BES solutions really geared towards renewable integration, optimizing the grid, and backup power. Their platforms, like Reservoir and GE Flex Inverter, have a reputation for being very reliable and high-performing.
And their global reach, I imagine, is massive.
Oh, absolutely. GE's presence is enormous, over 180 countries. Huge network of utilities and industrial clients. Their size gives them massive market influence. In 2023, total sales were $75.6 billion. The BES part was $5.6 billion, which again shows just how significant energy storage is becoming, even for giants like GE.
Yeah, $5.6 billion is definitely not small change.
Yeah.
Any recent innovations from GE in this area?
Yes, they're leaning into AI-enhanced storage solutions, again, for better performance and grid integration. And like others, they're actively developing and deploying hybrid systems, combining batteries with renewables for a more complete package.
Okay, so those are the big 5, established giants. But markets like this always have disruptors, right? The report mentioned emerging companies, too. Who should we be watching?
Yeah, absolutely. The market's definitely dynamic. The report points out a few key emerging players really challenging the status quo. Companies like Fluence, Kokam, Narada, VRB Energy, and EVE Energy.
Fluence. That name rings a bell. Weren't they connected to Siemens?
Exactly. Fluence is a joint venture between Siemens and AES that gives them a really strong foundation tech from Siemens, energy infrastructure know-how from AES.
Yeah.
They're known for really cutting-edge energy management systems. Their Fluence IQ platform uses AI to optimize storage performance. They're mainly targeting utility-scale projects, especially in North America and Europe. Definitely a major competitor now.
Okay, what about Kokam? Where are they based?
Kokam is another South Korean company. They focus on high-performance lithium-ion, especially for industrial, renewable, and grid uses. They seem to have a niche in ultra-high power systems, and they're expanding in Asia and the Middle East. They're also making advances in different types of battery cells, like pouch and prismatic, which helps them compete on performance.
And Narada from China.
Right. Narada offers both lead carbon and lithium-ion solutions, so a bit of a different mix. They serve renewables, industrial, even telecom sectors. They've been doing collaborations in Africa and Southeast Asia, targeting those growth markets. Their focus seems to be on efficient and durable systems.
VRB Energy sounds different. Vanadium redox flow, what's that about?
Yeah, VRB Energy is Canadian, and they specialize in vanadium redox flow batteries. It's a totally different chemistry compared to lithium-ion. It's particularly good for long-duration storage, storing energy for many hours, even days. Great for integrating renewables smoothly. They're making a big push in China with investments there, really emphasizing the sustainability and grid reliability aspects of flow batteries.
Interesting tech. And the last one, EVE Energy, also Chinese?
Yep, EVE Energy. They focus on lithium-ion products across the board, residential, commercial, utility scale. A big part of their strategy seems to be high-density batteries and vertical integration, controlling more of their supply chain, which helps them compete on price. They're making moves into the European market, too, partnering with renewable developers there.
Okay, so you've got the established players, these ambitious newcomers. It's a busy field. If a new company wanted to jump in, what does the report suggest? What are the key strategies for success?
Well, the report stresses a few things. First, obviously, keep developing better, cheaper battery tech. That means refining lithium-ion, but also pushing solid-state, flow batteries, whatever comes next. You need better energy density, longer lifespan, top safety, and crucially, you need reliable, cost-effective raw materials, sustainable lithium, vanadium, whatever. That's key for pricing and meeting environmental standards.
Makes sense. Innovate and control costs. What else?
Go where the growth is. The report singles out Asia-Pacific, China, India, South Korea because of rapid renewable adoption, grid upgrades, government support. Setting up local manufacturing or partnering with regional players, like utilities or developers there, could be a smart move.
And what kind of projects should they target? Big ones, small ones?
Utility scale seems like a huge opportunity, driven by all the big solar and wind projects and the need for grid stability. But developing modular, scalable solutions that can work for different segments from homes up to factories also broadens the appeal. Flexibility is good.
Any other big picture advice for newcomers?
Yeah, sustainability.
Oh.
Emphasizing eco-friendly practices is huge now. Things like battery recycling programs, energy-efficient manufacturing. Aligning with those global green trends resonates with customers and stakeholders. It's not just good PR, it's becoming a requirement.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. This deep dive into the Cognitive Market Research Report has given us a really good map of the BESS landscape. We've got the big five: LG Energy Solution, Samsung SDI, ABB, Siemens Energy, GE. We know their strengths, their reach, some innovations. We also see the challengers: Fluence, Kokam, Narada, VRB Energy, EVE Energy, bringing new tech and competition. And we've got a sense of the playbook for success. Innovate, manage costs, target growth regions like Asia-Pacific, focus on utility scale, but be flexible and be sustainable. And that projected growth, $8 billion to nearly $57 billion by 2032.
Yeah.
It just hammers home how vital this all is.
It really does. And, maybe a final thought to leave our listeners with, something beyond just the company stats. Considering how fast battery tech is moving and how urgent the shift to renewables is, how might these storage solutions change things fundamentally? Not just the grid, but like our daily lives, how we actually use and interact with energy. It's kind of fascinating to think about the ripple effects beyond just the industry itself, isn't it? Where could this all lead?